Hi, there you go. Welcome to Something to Talk About. My name is Taco, and this is my video that I'm making. I'm talking about Shagwell. This is my A Song of Ice and Fire lore videos. I started making videos about really lesser known characters, and I'm making them more and more known. I think this is a good spot, though. I'm not going to go with any more well known than Shagwell. He wasn't in the show, at least, but he's a pretty big character throughout a lot of the later books and even the middle books. Also, so Shagwell, the Mad Clown, is a horrible person. So viewer discretion advised. If you don't want to hear about violence, especially violence towards women, and just overall gross, horrible people stuff, you probably shouldn't watch this one. So get out of here. It's better than me not warning you and then you watching it and you getting mad at me. So please, I'm going to say right now, if you can handle some of the really nasty stuff, might be good to leave. I did still censor most of my script, but it's still there. So, it will still be implied. All right, I do all these in one real long take. So if I say and huh a lot, it's because I don't edit. I don't edit any of that out. I just get the improv. That or I'm lazy. All right, there you go. Shagwell, the Mad Clown, the Mad Jester, the psychotic jester, the juggalo, whatever you want to call him. I'm not saying all juggalos are crazy. I'm not. What I'm saying, it's their whole thing is being mad jesters and clowns, right? I'm not. They did it. All right, let's get up a picture of Shagwell. Oh wait, no, that's Felicity Shagwell. Sorry, wrong Shagwell. Wrong Shagwell. No, this guy. This is Shagwell. Or not that one. All right, let's get her out of here. So let's talk about his history, his backstory, what he's all about. And sorry, I got a pretty creepy picture because I figured out Art the Clown from the Terrifier was a good stand-in for Shagwell for some of these. The psychotic jester. So Shagwell is also called Shagwell the Fool or Shags. He's a psychotic jester, a member of the Brave Companions, a mercenary group who was originally hired by Tywin Lannister. Shagwell is a wispy fool whose laugh is high and shrill and braying. I'm assuming it's like ha 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 ha, something like that. Eric from Happy Gilmore or Billy Madison. He's Eric from Billy Madison. So if you don't know what the Brave Companions are, if you didn't read the books, in the show, they completely cut the Brave Companions. So the Brave Companions are a very psychotic, they're also called the Bloody Mummers. They are a group of outlaws and sellswords and mercenaries who are all very nasty. They're very, and he's one of them. And they're all ran by Vargo Hoat, and they were bought or hired by Tywin Lannister. I hope I didn't say Tyrion earlier. Tywin Lannister took him over and helped with the War of the Five Kings during the beginning of the War of the Five Kings. So that's where he came in. So this sellsword is a not going to say that word, starts with an R, who tells cruel jokes and is said to be half mad. Sir Jaime Lannister considers Shagwell one of the worst members of the Brave Companions. Shagwell wears green and pink or gray and pink motley. He is nimble and fights with a triple morning star, which is just a flail. I don't know why George calls flails morning stars, but he does. So it's 3 spiked balls attached to a wooden shaft, and there are rumors that Shagwell once killed a man for not laughing at his japes. So he is the worst of the worst, and he fights with a flail. George calls flails morning stars in the books. Whatever, man. He can do what he wants. But it's got 3 of the spike balls that are all hanging off one thing, and that's how he fights, right? So it's a really brutal, nasty weapon. Harrenhal. Shagwell is among the Brave Companions who arrive in Harrenhal under the employ of Tywin Lannister. After the fall of Harrenhal, Shagwell hacks off the heads of 2 dead knights from Sir Emery Lorch's garrison and prances through the castle, swinging the heads by the hair and mockingly making them talk about the cause of their own deaths. That's pretty goofy, right? So he's holding these heads and he's like, "So, head, how did you die?" Well, I got killed by something. I don't know. I didn't have anything planned, but that's what he's doing with these heads. It's pretty sick. Uh, yeah. So Shagwell spreads a story of weasel soup. So think this is after the fall of Harrenhal. So what happened was the brave companions brought in these northern men, which is like Roose Bolton and some other people. And it was like a Trojan horse, like they were their captives. They brought in these captives. And then the northern men, the captives, attacked from the inside and then took out Emery Lorch, who was there, left by Tywin Lannister to hold Harrenhal, and that's how the North gets Harrenhal and eventually comes into the power of Roose Bolton. The Bloody Mummers, the brave companions, including Shagwell, turn their cloak to help Roose Bolton, and so they're horrible, and that's how they take over. So the weasel soup was a thing that Arya was trying to do to get free, but it happened at the exact same time. So a couple of these guards got killed during this weasel soup incident. It's hard to get into. I'm trying to move past it quick because this is a story about Shagwell. So it all happens at the same time, and in a way, she kind of helped take out the Lannister men that were left, unknowingly helping Roose Bolton to take over. So, Arya Stark's involvement in the castle's fall, which prompts Arya to consider. So he's telling everybody the story, and that prompts her to consider adding his name to her prayer kill list. But her fear of Shagwell negates the thought. Now, isn't that terrifying? So think of the monsters that she has on her prayer list. This guy scares her so much, more than the mountain, right? That she doesn't want to say his name because she's afraid what he will do. That's some real fear there. She fears this psycho clown more than she fears the mountain. Wow. When Lord Roose Bolton arrives at Harrenhal, Shagwell introduces Arya to him as the weasel who made the soup. But of course, he's just this crazy bumbling fool, so Roose doesn't know what that means. And Shagwell, I'll get to that in a second. So Roose takes over at the same time that Arya is there in the books, and then she kind of does that squiring stuff for Roose in the books and not Tywin. But she doesn't even know Roose is sworn to her brother. She doesn't tell Roose who she is because she doesn't like the cut of his jib. She can tell that he's a little evil. And it was good because Roose was betraying, is going to betray Robb, and she doesn't know that. So she could have been totally involved and probably killed by Roose Bolton. So it was good sixth or maybe even her seventh sense. And Emery Lorch was then, Shagwell is the one who kicked Emery Lorch into the bear pit later that evening. So Shagwell's credited for killing Emery Lorch. Anyways, Emery Lorch was kind of important way back in the day, but one of the principal bannermen of Tywin was involved in the sack of King's Landing and is credited with the death of Elia Martell along with the Mountain. It's one of the people that Oberyn wants dead. It's Emery Lorch, the Mountain, and then, of course, the guy who told them to kill his sister. The capture of Jaime. Urswick captures Sir Jaime Lannister and Brienne of Tarth near Maidenpool and brings them to Vargo Hoat, the leader of the Brave Companions. Shagwell. Okay, so this is how Jaime loses his hand in the books opposed to the show, right? In the show, some character named Locke does it, right? But Locke's not a character in the books. Vargo Hoat orders his men to do it. So this big Dothraki over here, Zolo, does it. And Shagwell kicks out Jaime's legs and jumps on his back to lower him when Zolo grabs his arm and chops his hand off with his cool curved Dothraki sword. Yes, it's different in the book, and it's just as brutal, though. I mean, it's still Jaime losing his hand, right? It's messed up. So on the way to Harrenhal, Jaime tries to escape when he grabs Tymion's sword one morning. Shagwell, so he comes after Shagwell. And Shagwell dodges all of Jaime's swings And however, and when he falls, he kisses Jaime's forehead. So he's like good enough, at least dodging, that he dodges Jaime Lannister's attacks. But of course, Jaime's using his left hand. He just lost his right hand. It's not like the Jaime Lannister. It's after Jaime's pretty broken. So it's him dodging out of the way, and then after he trips, he goes up and kisses Jaime's forehead, which is super creepy. So later, Shagwell, Zolo, and Rorge attempt to not say that word. Let's just say attack Jaime, or attack Brienne one night. But Jaime thwarts them by claiming that she can be ransomed for sapphires from her father, the Lord of Tarth, because of this Sapphire Isle, which they do in the show too, but this is the book version of that with these characters. And Shagwell suggests that Jaime be thrown into Harrenhal's bear pit, but Vargo and Roose refuse that. Shagwell is among the companions mocked by Jaime as he leaves when he's released from Harrenhal. So, got a couple sides left. So, that's kind of his involvement with Jaime. So far, he's been part of Arya's story, Jaime's story, and there's another character coming up. So after the fall of Harrenhal, again, he leaves. There's a lot. He's, like I said, Shagwell's kind of there for a lot of people's stories, right? So leaving Harrenhal, the brave companions scatter when the capture of Harrenhal by Sir Gregor Clegane. So now the Lannisters take it back. Jaime, when he shows up, hopes to find the character Pig and Shagwell in Harrenhal's dungeons when he returns to the castle, but they have already departed. Pig, Timian, and Shagwell torture an outlaw from the Brotherhood Without Banners to learn that Sandor Clegane was with Arya Stark, and they later hear a similar story from an innkeep. So they're kind of torturing people around the Crownlands, and they're learning where the Hound is and where Arya is. So Timian, Pig, P-I-G, Pig, and Shagwell are now going to be companions for the rest of this, right? So the brave companions scatter, but these three are hanging out together. Oop, there you go. So the wrong fool. The sellswords go to Maidenpool to find a passage across the narrow sea to Essos. The docks are guarded by Lord Randall Tarley, Samwell Tarley's dad. So the fool instead starts to entertain, like, whatever, doing whatever fools do, sing and dance and stuff, at the Stinking Goose, and buys drinks for sailors, hoping that the three outlaws can be smuggled from Westeros on a ship. Dick Crab, best name ever, I love Dick Crab, cons Shagwell into buying a map to the Whispers, because he tells him that it's a very popular smuggler's cove. But Dick omits the fact that there hasn't been ships here for 30 years, and the sellswords camp at the ruins. So what did I just say? So Nibble Dick goes, oh, you guys are looking to be smuggled? Well, here's a map to my family's old seat, and a bunch of smugglers live there. It's called the Whispers here. And the Whispers is also a thing with, like, that whole legend. I'm not going to get into it, but it involves people with talking heads. Not the Amazing Band, but like what he was doing earlier, making severed heads talk. The Whispers had a guy with all these severed heads who would give him advice. It's a really creepy story. Maybe I'll tell it if I'm still doing these videos around Halloween. So Nibble Dick fools them, and now they're staying at the ruins of the Whispers. So Brienne has been tasked by Jaime, so let's bring a main character back into the story, with finding Sansa Stark, who has gone missing after the fantastic death of King Joffrey. Sansa is believed to be in the company of Dantos Howard, who is another fool. Brienne learns of Dick boasting to have fooled a fool. So Dick later agrees to escort Brienne to the Whispers so she can find the fool in question. So now they're headed to where Shagwell and the other two are hiding in these ruins. And there is this kind of cool story about how she thinks that Nimble Dick might be kind of evil, like she's kind of really guarded around him, but it turns out he's actually one of the good ones, and she doesn't realize that until it's too late. It's kind of a little sad. So the Whispers. So when Brienne, Dick, and Podrick Payne arrive at the Whispers, Shagwell jumps down from a weirwood and breaks Dick's knee with his flail. Dick begs for mercy, but Shagwell crushes his face with his flail. There he goes. There goes out Nimble Dick. I almost did a video for Nimble Dick, but I kind of figured Shagwell, his story is involved with Nimble Dick's story, so you kind of get most of his involvement. But there has to be a reason why Nimble Dick jumps down from a weirwood tree, right? Why did George make it a weirwood tree? Why isn't he jumping down from an elm tree or an oak tree or a pine tree? Maybe he wanted the old gods to see what's about to happen. Or maybe it's something about all this death that just happened, is about to happen in front of this weirwood tree, is like giving blood and blood sacrifice to the old gods. I don't know. I think it has something to do with something like that. There's got to be a reason why it's a weirwood tree here. Where am I? So he just died. Shagwell and Timian begin talking to Brienne, attempting to distract her. While they surround her, Brienne kills Timian and Pig. Then Podrick starts to throw stones at Shagwell until he yields. Brienne makes him dig the grave for Dick beneath the weirwood. So this is what I'm saying. Maybe it's like giving him to the old gods, like the sacrifice, and that's why they're making it underneath the weirwood where they're burying Nimble Dick. But I don't know. Okay, so where are we? So he finishes digging. Shagwell lunges at Brienne with a rock, and then she takes her dagger out and stabs him to death as she's telling him to laugh. Brutal. Yeah, it's a really kind of nasty stabbing him in his guts, stabbing him to death, and she's saying like, laugh, 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 laugh. And I believe in the books it says like his bowels, like she's stabbing him like lower gut. She's telling him to laugh as she's doing it because he has that really high-pitched, terrifying laugh. So Brienne kind of goes a little dark side here with his skill. Brienne brings the heads of the three sellswords, so they just bury Nimble Dick. So she takes the heads of the three sellswords and brings them to Maidenpool and leaves their bodies for the crows. Brienne later has nightmares involving the three guys, Pig, Timian, and Shagwell. So this isn't a Brienne story at all, but do keep in mind, I didn't want to say the word earlier, but that R word that I said, he was this, right? So he was a attacker of women. He is a toxic man, an abuser, a horrible person. So him being killed by Brienne is definitely symbolic, and especially the way that she did it, right? Of like stabbing him down here, and it was really violent, and it was very, it's symbolic of her killing. I'm just going to say the word once, killing a rapist, because this is her getting her revenge over, like symbolically getting her revenge over toxic and nasty, violent men, because that's most of her story, right? It's all Brienne. And I know I'm not the great person because I'm a dude talking about this, but her whole story is overcoming this man's world and specifically killing him like this. So that's the end, very violent end of a very violent, horrible character. Good old Shagwell, the psychotic jester, the fool. So there we go. I gave you guys a warning beforehand that this isn't a fun one. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it a little bit. Even though he's such a nasty character, he's so involved with a lot of the big, huge players like Brienne, like Jaime, like Arya, that, it's kind of interesting. So, yeah, please click like, subscribe if you haven't. I do have more of a Song of Ice and Fire stuff. Videos, links of the videos might be popping up here soon. Please check it out. And yeah, I hope that wasn't too much of a downer for your day. But at least he died at the end. Watch out for psychotic fools hanging up in weirwood trees. And you guys have a good day. See ya.